creating comic characters like Durdles and Mrs. Billikin, promising a richness of comic invention to come. But that was not to be. On June the 8th, 1870, he worked a full day in the Swiss chalet in the garden of Gad's Hill, where he always now wrote. Around 6 in the evening, with a final flourish denoting the end of a chapter, Dickens went back to the house for dinner. During the meal, he was taken ill, collapsed, and went into a coma. 24 hours later, on June the 9th, he died. A solitary tear rolled down his cheek moments before he expired. The air of mystery surrounding the novel is compounded by the greater mystery of how Dickens would have developed and ended it. He was aiming to write a detective story, a murder mystery, a sensation novel in the style of his great friend Wilkie Collins, who had already influenced Dickens in the writing of Bleak House and Our Mutual Friend. He imitated his friend's bold style. Opium, for instance, so much a feature of Edwin Drood, also pervades Collins's The Moonstone, written in 1868. Like Collins, too, Dickens filled his plot with red herrings and wrong turnings. With the novel uncompleted, it is impossible to decipher which clues, if any, are genuine. Edwin Drood is supposedly murdered in Chapter 14, and almost any of the characters could be the murderer. Are we to suspect Jasper, who takes an unhealthy interest in his nephew's activities, spies on him, and could have killed him whilst drugged with opium, perhaps? Or the troubled Neville Landless, who takes an instant dislike to Edwin and has difficulty controlling an ungovernable temper? Or are these too obvious as suspects? Would Dickens have revealed a darker side to the muscular Christian Mr. Crisparkle, who equates bodily fitness with spiritual fitness? Theories abound, and have done ever since the novel was published in its unfinished form. Currently, there are more than 100 different endings to the book imagined by scholars and writers. Only Dickens knew the answer, and alas, we shall never know. However, he did suggest one way in a letter to his friend John Forster, and it is with this conclusion that David Timson, in his recording for Naxos Audiobooks, brings The Mystery of Edwin Drood to an end.
The Opium Den. An ancient English cathedral tower? How can the ancient English cathedral tower be here? The well-known massive grey square tower of its old cathedral? How can that be here? There is no spike of rusty iron in the air between the eye and it from any point of the real prospect. What is the spike that intervenes? And who has set it up? Maybe it is set up by the Sultan's orders for the impaling of a horde of Turkish robbers one by one. It is so, for cymbals clash, and the Sultan goes by to his palace in long procession. 10,000 scimitars flash in the sunlight, and thrice 10,000 dancing girls strew flowers. Then follow white elephants, caparisoned in countless gorgeous colours, and infinite in number and attendance. Still the cathedral tower rises in the background, where it cannot be, and still no writhing figure is on the grim spike. Stay. Is the spike so low a thing as the rusty spike on the top of a post of an old bedstead that has tumbled all awry? Some vague period of drowsy laughter must be devoted to the consideration of this possibility.